And what I found was somewhat shocking. I basically re-educated myself as to diet, spent hours upon hours looking at information, videos, reading NIH PubMed, right? And really what I found was you should be vegan, right? Or at least have a plant-based diet. And the agreement between all of these massively different sources is so strong that really I couldn't deny it. And I don't even like vegans. I didn't want to be vegan, but the evidence was too good. And now that I'm used to it, I love it.
Talk to me a little bit of what evidence you have seen that changed your mind.
Well, the first most powerful thing is that if you look at the number one killer in America, what is it? It's cardiovascular disease. So in societies that are vegan and plant-based, they don't have cardiovascular disease, right? So it can even be intermittent meat. It can be blue zones. Have you heard of blue zones before?
Mm-hmm. Like Loma Linda.
Loma Linda.
I know Loma Linda in California.
Right. So these are, Loma Linda specifically is vegan and they don't eat meat. Other places are rarely eat fish. And then countries that are plant-based countries like Uganda, they have no cardiovascular disease at all. That's our number one killer, right? And they have no colon cancer, right? So that alone is good. And then if you start looking through the studies, large diet studies, we're talking 5,000, 10,000 people, followed for 5 to 10 years. The vegans always have fewer incidences of cardiovascular disease and fewer incidents of cancer-related deaths.
So you bring up Loma Linda. We can take that one as an example because it's down the street from where we live.
Right.
And I know the folks that live there are generally churchgoers. They also don't drink any alcohol. They have faith in their lives, and so they have a lot of meaning in their lives. There's a lot of research that says that if you have meaning and faith in your life, you're likely to actually live longer. And so how are these studies even accounting for all of those different variables? Or let's say you take Japan and the vegan diet there. I think many folks have other additional elements of just healthy living. How do you really reconcile all of those variables and actually trust that the study is applicable?
Right. I mean, that's a great point because you can't trust perfectly any diet study, right? So if you ask me what I ate last week, would I be 100% correct? I might omit the donut,
If
right?
you ask me, I'd probably lie about it to myself first, and then if you know,
I didn't eat that.
you.
What?
I never ate that chocolate.
So it is definitely prone to error, right? The reason the blue zones are they're not just long-lived people. They're the longest lived people on the planet. We're talking, there's like one of them has like 20 centurions there, right? So these are extreme. So it's not just the diet, it's also the family and the community-based and having a behavior that works around health and wellness. So, you're not going to see them all hanging out, having football, drinking a beer as much as you are for, you go to Loma Linda, they're all biking in the hills and the guy who's 80 will pass you on his bike, right? So it's just a whole behavior that goes with a set of healthiness. So that's an extreme. So you can't certainly say, oh, it's just the vegan diet, it's everything. Mm-hmm. But when you look at these huge people-based studies, you see even in a small group of people, you'll change them to vegan, and then they have a 20% reduction in their coronary artery calcifications, right? So if you can isolate just the diet, it goes on to prove out that those things are better for those people.
What about the other illnesses?